Hello, beautiful artistic friends. Welcome to Monet Cafe Studio and this lesson called Easy Autumn Trees. It's a pastel painting tutorial that is really beginner friendly and just a lot of fun. And it's real time. I know a lot of you enjoy that when you can just follow along at the real speeds. So I am actually using a sheet of unsanded pastel paper. This is Monet pastel paper. It's made by Canson, and it is a more affordable surface for beginners. Now, as I typically do, I start using a dark, and this is so easy, really. I'm just going to get in a shape of a tree. I'm doing this out of my imagination, and I'm just thinking kind of like a maple tree. Now you can see this Canson paper. Do you see kind of that little honeycomb pattern there? Canson paper, if you buy it in the pads, the front side of the paper has that texture to it. The back side is smooth, and I like both sides, so just keep that in mind. But now I just give a general trunk, and you want to keep this very suggestive and a little idea of some branches. We don't want to spell everything out. We're just painting an impressionistic tree. And that first dark was a Terry Ludwig pastel. I believe it's the eggplant color, and it's a purple, even though it looks almost black. Now, I like to combine a few different darks, at least a couple of them. So that's why I'm also adding this somewhat of a magenta dark. It's a little warmer than that purple, and it just gives a little bit of variety and interest to your darks. Now, I often like to say I'm building things from the inside out. I'm thinking of the darkest elements of the tree first. That would be the inner trunk and branches and shadows, and I just create this very, very basic shape. That's pretty simple, right? We're going to do two of these, by the way. Now, these are autumn trees, so I've got to get some gorgeous fall color here. I'm not going to go immediately to a really light orange. I'm getting more of a middle value orange, and I'm just scumbling in. Scumbling is just making little directional marks here and there, thinking about how the sunlight might be hitting on some of these masses of leaves and branches. I typically work dark to light, but I saw that I wanted a little more depth in this tree. So I grabbed another pastel that's just a little bit darker, and it has a little bit more of a reddish hue to it. Now, so far, 3 of these pastels have been Terry Ludwig pastels. Now, if you're a beginner artist, I know some of these brands, they're the best. They're such good pastels, along with many other professional brands I recommend. I know they can get expensive, but I have lots of recommendations I'll share with you at the end for some more affordable sets you can get started with. Now, this is another Terry Ludwig, and notice how it is a little bit more orange. It's still kind of dark. The lighter orange over there to my right, I believe that it could be a broken Terry Ludwig, or it could be what's called a Great American Pastel. But as long as you can kind of emulate some of these colors, just use what you have. Again, I'm just making little scumbling marks and leaving a little bit of that depth. I'm not covering everything up. So I'm sorry, sometimes I hold the pastel up and it's out of the frame. So now I'm going with another bright orangey red color, and I'm going to now start getting marks that are just a little bit more punctuated and a little more specific. So this is the point to where I've got my general colors and values in for the tree, and now I am starting to add a little bit of texture and variety. I thought it would be fun to add a little branch on the bottom, maybe with a few of the colors of that might be some of the leaves of that reddish color. And these colors have a very subtle difference, many of them, but you can see by layering just those subtle variations in value and color, it really starts to create the depth. And yes, I'm using one more color that's a beautiful warm color. It's a little bit, I think it might be a little bit cooler. Wait till I lay it down. Now, again, you do not have to have all of these colors, but I think I've represented pretty well here that, yeah, that one was a little bit cooler. That Terry Ludwig has some gorgeous warm colors, right? So now I'm finally getting lighter. Look at all that gorgeous red and orange I have down, some deep oranges, and now I'm getting my lighter oranges. Just giving little suggestive marks of where some leaves may be catching the light. Have I painted a leaf yet, or a branch? Not really. It's all very suggestive. And that is really, if you like impressionistic painterly art, that's the way to paint. We're just suggesting elements and keeping a real soft technique. And it really is amazing how easy painting can be once you get away from the fact that you don't have to paint everything. Now, I've got I thought it was that original Terry Ludwig. I think this one is a little bit darker. This might be the eggplant color. Again, it looks almost black, but it's a dark purple. I think that first dark up top there is a little bit lighter than this one. So again, I just suggested an idea of some of the trunk and some of the branches. So now I'm going to come in again and give that little idea of maybe some more little random branches and perhaps even a few little leaves that have fallen on the ground. And now I'm going to move on to the second tree, which will have more of a yellow hue to it. And most of that will be a repeat of what I've just done here, just with some different colors. And I wanted to share that this was originally a Patreon post of mine in real time. And I have decided to make this available here publicly on the Monet Cafe channel. And it's part of this month's theme in November that I'm calling fall, y'all. I'm a Southerner, and of course I have lost some of my Southern accent in living in Florida for so long. My whole family's from North Carolina. But talk about some gorgeous fall foliage in North Carolina and the Appalachian Mountains area. Oh my goodness. In October, the leaves are just magical. So again, as I talk, you can just remember the same way I painted this other tree, just with different colors. And I wanted to let you know too, that this month over on my Patreon page, my teaching theme, the painting theme or the subject theme is fall. But my teaching theme, I'm calling it's a series of mine actually, is Artistic Meditations. And I've had this series on my Patreon page for a few years now, but I decided to focus or make this entire month of November this type of painting. The reason is because November and December is so crazy with so many holidays. So I thought it would be neat to paint in this way. Now, what is it? What is Artistic Meditations and this series or method of painting? It's basically a meditative and intuitive way to paint. And it is such a relaxing experience. It helps you to learn to paint like a kid again. And I really believe when you paint like that, you're going to have results that you like more. And you kind of break away from the stiffness of thinking you have to paint so seriously. It's a fun way to discover things. All right, so now you know the November theme is, the subject theme is fall or autumn, and my teaching theme over on Patreon is Artistic Meditations. That I've already got a tutorial that I'm uploading. I'm editing it right now. Oh my gosh, this was so fun for me. I also chose that theme because I love it. All right, now let me talk a little bit about this. I put down a few darks. You can see kind of similar. I think they were the same colors maybe that I used in the first one, maybe a little bit of a different beginning dark. Yes. Now I decided, there's some autumn trees that still have a little bit of green in them. So I decided to make one of my darker values. It wasn't real dark, kind of a medium dark value as a little bit of green. And the final result, like I said, will be a tree that has more yellow color. But combined with that often, if you look at yellow trees, they often have a mix of yellow and orange colors. So I'm giving a little bit of a middle value of some of these orange colors. And I'm also going to do a little mix of some warm greens in it as well. Because when a tree turns to these gorgeous, vibrant autumn colors, it's a transition. And often you've got a little bit of multiple colors, and often you have a little bit of the original color, which is green. So I'm going to give a mix of this beautiful warm green. And this little pastel I have in my hand, I believe it's a Sennelier. It's a French pastel product, and I believe it's from their Paris collection set. It's a wonderful set. Again, some of these products are more expensive. The surface isn't. This Canson surface is not. But again, at the end of this video, I'm going to show you some of the beginner products I recommend that are more affordable. But I've whittled down this little Sennelier pastel because I obviously love this green. It's almost an ochre/green color. And again, it's going to be a little bit of a base that I've got down along with some of the oranges before I add my yellows. You can see it already has quite a bit of a different color than the first red tree that I created. Now, I would love for you to comment, if you're still watching this video at this point, comment and let me know if you would like to see more of these very beginner-friendly, real-time tutorials with just very easy and clear instruction. I hope I'm giving clear, easy instruction. Let me know. But let me know if you'd like more videos like that. I find that those types of videos are way more popular. And please leave me a comment. Not only do I love to hear from you, but when you click that thumbs up button and you comment on my video, it causes YouTube to share my video more often. So that's just something that would help my channel out. I'd really appreciate it. And of course, become a patron if you want all of the goodies. It's only $5 a month, you know, and you can cancel at any time. So looky here, look what's developing here. And you know, again, I didn't even have a reference image. I know if you're a beginner artist, it might feel a little intimidating at first, but I promise you, I didn't know any of this when I started painting with pastels. I was so lost. I really wanted to be an artist ever since I was a little kid, and it wasn't until much later in my life that I was able to just give it a try. And I majored in graphic design, so I did have a little bit of artistic experience through that, but no real painting experience. So this was back before YouTube was a thing and a resource. And I had to literally just learn everything on my own from searching on websites. And I found a website, it's still around. It is called I forgot, it's been so long, Wet Canvas. And they had a forum that was for pastel artists. And it was through that forum that I really gleaned a lot of information from other pastel artists. But I was so bad at this when I first got started, I couldn't have sat down and just painted a tree out of my head. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. Now this pastel is a lot more yellow. Can you see that? Now here's something else I want to point out too. A lot of times we talk about the surface that I have is called unsanded paper. It's just like plain paper. It's got a little texture to it. It's more affordable, but often we say that you can't get many layers on unsanded paper. And I think I'm proving that you actually can if you don't press too hard with the beginning layers. Now I am starting to get to where I can't get much more on this. And the only reason I'm able to get this pretty golden yellow orange on it is because this is a very soft pastel. I believe this one is probably a Sennelier pastel. I'm putting, again, a few leaves on the ground. The softer the pastel, the more layers that you can get. Harder pastels, they're great for initial layers, they're great for sketching, but the harder pastels, you can't get those final marks. Now, what is the alternative to unsanded paper? Well, it's the opposite. It's sanded paper. I had no idea what that was when I first started painting with pastels, but it's literally some professional pastel papers that are a little bit like hardware store sandpaper. Can you paint on hardware store sandpaper? Yes, you can, but there's some disadvantages to that. I'll leave that for a whole nother video. Now, I do sometimes do a little light blending. I don't like to overblend. I feel like it muddies the beautiful color of the pastels. Occasionally, I will do a little bit of that with my finger, but sometimes I will blend more at the beginning. But just so you know, the more you layer, the more the pastels will start to blend themselves. So don't worry if things look a little strange at first. I call it the adolescent stage. Eventually, as you layer more colors and values, things start to come together. Now, there's one other thing I want to do to these trees. I am a fan of, if you follow my channel, you know how I love a pop of color. Now, I love complementary color. What is complementary color? If you take a color wheel and you look at a color like red or yellow, and you look opposite of the color wheel, those opposite colors are what's called complementary colors. And often the opposite of yellows and reds even are purples and blues. And purple just looks so darn good with yellow that it's also a great shadowy color. It's kind of cool. So I decided to pop in a little bit of this purple into some shadowy areas, into some of the deeper areas of the the foliage and also the branches and a little bit into the trunk. Can you see just a little hint of that purple really did give a little bit of color pop, and I love that. That's just one of my favorite things to do. And I decided to give a little more color interest by going with a little bit of a lighter purple to lavender color and popping it just in some of the areas that are lighter, like a little bit more of the foreground there and a couple of spots in and amongst the branches. Okay, so now I'm just having fun. This is a pretty pinkish purple, and again, just little hints of this color in various spots, and you don't want to overdo it. I heard a pastel artist once say, if it's everywhere, it's nowhere. Can you imagine if I put that purple all throughout the tree? All of a sudden, it wouldn't have the focal interest that it does when it's just in very subtle areas. Now, this is a Prismacolor NuPastel, this long rectangular pastel I have. It's a very affordable type of pastel. It's one of the ones I said was a harder pastel. It's great for sketching. It's not as dusty as the other pastels. And it's great for, you see how I just made those little gestural grass shapes there. Look, that was a very soft pastel, so soft that it just kind of crumbled on me. But it's a gorgeous purple, right? I believe that was a Terry Ludwig pastel. So this was really a lot of fun and a great way to start out this month of autumn. I'm calling fall, y'all. I hope you will recreate from this. If you haven't already found our public Facebook group, it's called Monet Cafe Art Group. Please ask to join that group and share your pastel paintings. Every level of artist is welcome. Now, let me tell you a little bit about how to find beginner art supplies. I have an Amazon shop that is a wealth of information for pastel artists. Now, this is in the section that's everything, but I have these little subcategories. One's called idea lists here, and it's little sections that I have curated products. This first one is called pastels and painting products, and there are many things I have in here that are more affordable. This color block set of 100 colors, I have a pastel painting tutorial here on my YouTube channel where I use only these pastels, and it's 100 pastel sticks for only $57. And I have some more expensive brands in this section too, but another affordable set is the Paul Rubens sets. They have various sets. So, and Rembrandt pastels were some of the first that I started with, and they're a little bit of a harder pastel. You can't quite get the layers that you can with some of the more expensive brands, but they're still a great set to get started with. And of course, the Prismacolor NuPastels. Let me go back and show you the beginner idea list too. The beginner list has the Prismacolor NuPastels that I said are the long skinny ones that are harder, the Rembrandt pastels, the color block pastels, the Paul Rubens pastels. These are all the more affordable brands in the beginner section. Now, as far as surfaces go, the Canson surface I'm working on in the video that I just shared is the Canson Mi-Teintes unsanded paper. I don't think I have it listed in this section, but it was in the idea list before. But this Canson Velvet is a new product. This is one I love, love, love. It's the cream colored one. It's a little bit more expensive, but it gives you that layering ability. It's considered a sanded surface, even though it's not super textural, but oh my goodness, you can get so many layers. And let me see if I have another. Oh yes, this one, Art Spectrum by Color Fix, is another very affordable surface to try if you want a sanded pastel surface. So those are just some tips I like to give for beginner pastel artists. Again, I would love for you to leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, become a patron, and let me know what you thought of this video. All right, as always, everyone, God bless and happy painting.